Hello everyone, it is Felicia Bender, the Practical Numerologist, with your numerology forecast for the 4 or for the 22, if you're in a 22/4 personal year, for September 2022. If you are new to numerology and you don't know your personal year number, I really advise you to take a moment, pause, and head to FeliciaBender.com. More than likely, that's where you are right now listening to this. But click on Monthly Forecast. There is a calculator there, so you can calculate your personal year number so that you can make sure that you are listening to the correct forecast, because these forecasts are based on the personal year number, not on your life path number. So those are two entirely different things in numerology. We want to make sure that you are at the right place at the right time, listening to the correct forecasts. So with that said, we are going to jump right in and see what is coming into play for you in September of 2022. It's your 4 personal year. It's a 4 personal month. So September is a crescendo month for you in your 4 personal year. So September is a peak month to reflect and act upon all of your 4 or 22/4 personal year themes of long-term goal setting, working with effort, with focus, systematizing, and working with some old emotional or family-based issues. Those come up to play very much so in the 4 or 22/4 personal year. If you've been following your forecast, that is not news to you, right? And if you've just been experiencing your life, that's not news to you. And so every year in September, each of us experiences a peak or this crescendo in the energy of our particular personal year. So why is that? Why, Felicia? Why does this happen, numerologically speaking? Well, here's why. Because September is a 9. It is the 9th month of the year. And so whenever you add 9 with any other number and then reduce it to 1 digit, the result is what you started out with. Okay? So that's a little magical, mystical, fun math fact. If you're mathematically inclined, that will be no surprise to you. If you're not, which is most of us, me included, it's a kind of a little happy surprise. It's like, oh, that's kind of interesting. How does that work? So it means basically that the 9 disappears when it is presented in an addition problem. And so I'm just going to give you a couple of examples here, just to let you in on this little math secret. And it's probably easier to understand when you see it in writing, and yet you're listening to it. So good luck with that. But I'm going to give you the examples anyway. So the first example, very simple one, would be 9 plus 1. So that equals 10, and then if we keep reducing, 1 plus 0 equals 1. So 9 plus 1, it actually, in this configuration, how we're doing it in terms of the reduction to a 1-digit number, you would just block out the number 9 when you see 9 plus 1 and understand immediately that the answer to that question is 1. So it's a very interesting visual thing to think about and to do. Or let's just look at another random example. These could be small numbers. They can be the largest numbers in the world. So let's kind of go midway here. 7,430, for example, plus 9. What is that? That's 7,439. So if we take that and reduce it to a 1-digit number, 7 plus 4 plus 3 plus 9, that equals 23. 2 plus 3 equals 5. So now we're going to add 9 to that 1-digit reduction of 7,430, which we just saw is 5, right? It's the number 5. So if we do it again this way, we're going to keep adding. 5 plus 9 equals 14. 1 plus 4 equals 5. We're always getting back to that number 5 because that's the way it shows up. So you can see that no matter how low or high the number is, you could add 9 to a billion, a trillion, whatever, and it would still be what it's right up against next to. It isn't going to add to it. It's just going to be the same number. So I hope that makes sense, but it's kind of intriguing in terms of reducing down to that 1-digit number. You're always going to get the same number you start with when you're adding it to the number 9. So simply put, this is a time where the energy and the issues related to your personal year come to a peak. And so given that it is your 4 or the 22 and the 4 personal month, it's, both of those coming in and converging together. Sometimes the lesson is in reeling yourself in and getting real about what you're doing. And sometimes the lesson is in coming to terms with the way in which we limit and restrict ourselves. And sometimes it's all about lightening up just a little bit and not pushing so hard where there's no flexibility there. So it's kind of the triad of how things can show up in your 4 personal month and your 4 personal year in September. So seriously though, what is the plan? Are you feeling it? Maybe a little bit of that exasperated, martyrish, nobody can possibly understand how hard it's been on me and how much I've had to sacrifice this year. Or, something like that. And I'm not making fun, but I am, putting that into play. It's often how most of us feel if we are at this place in our 4 personal year. I just have to tell you. So are you feeling large and in charge, forging your path, getting it all done? Or are you feeling a bit beleaguered about now? It's kind of like that, I don't know, the last couple miles of that marathon. You got to keep plugging away, right? So toward the end of September, you'll start feeling the itch and yearning for freedom and expansion rather than this downright restricted feeling associated with this year. One of the goals of this year has been to point out your limitations, both in a good way and in a challenging way. It's been about finding those loopholes, right? So it's about finding your boundaries, setting realistic and practical goals, and going about obtaining them in a directed and consistent way. So I often find that this is a year where you're implementing the creative projects that you may have started last year. So it's implementation year, getting it all out there, getting it in line, getting it in play. So, of course, some of us will experience the challenges related to the energy of the hardworking number 4, which is sometimes expressed by avoiding doing much in terms of long-term planning, organizing, and putting your nose to the grindstone, so to speak. So it also presents as a need to let go of micromanaging and often presses us to learn to say no when we need to say no, and yes when we need to say yes. So it also prods us to learn to ask for help and support in order to have success at whatever it is we're doing. And yet the tendency here is to hunker down, do it all alone, despite the fact that it feels arduous and maybe ineffective, wheels are spinning, inefficient, downright crappy maybe to even do so. So I'll do a for instance. I do have a friend who was in his 4 personal year. He was a 5 life path, by the way. And all he did was travel during that year. That was kind of his MO. He put off systematizing his client list, something he'd repeatedly told me that he wanted and needed in order to get his business in order and ready to expand the way he wanted it to grow. And so, of course, as the months ticked by, he began to feel a real general kind of sense of malaise as he realized that even the travel wasn't making him happy. And he knew that he wasn't accomplishing what needed to be accomplished. The travel was fun for a while, and then he realized that it was just an escape from the work that needed to be done. Yet at mid-year, he kind of got this wild hair to hire a personal trainer. And as he disciplined himself enough to follow through with his physical personal training, he started feeling this amazing sense of accomplishment and empowerment in ways that he was searching for and yet wasn't really able, before hiring this trainer, to institute into his life in a way that he could maintain. For those of you who, again, are into numerology, the 5 life path sometimes has a hard time with that. They're the kind of, sensuous, freedom-seeking, kind of impulsive people sometimes, mostly, often. Let's put all those disclaimers in there. But so to get back, though, to the story, the second half of his 4 personal year felt so much more productive for him. This sense of discipline that he felt with the physical training transferred over into his business life. He started rising earlier, getting his workout done, then feeling actually energized and motivated to actually book himself into his own calendar. And he began the task of organizing, managing, and systematizing his business. He found a really great organizational software platform that he started using. All of these things he began to implement. So the moral of the story is, it ain't over till it's over. So if you're feeling like, I don't know what you're feeling at this point in your 4 personal year, but September is really time to press on until the end of the year with getting everything lined up, all of it organized. So where are you with your longer term goals? As we hit September, that's a good time to review them. And here's the deal. Work is the focus this month. It's front and center. Sorry, not sorry, because often it's where you're feeling the best. So the double 4 vibe of September creates a significant turning point, even though the focus of the change might not be immediately apparent. Remember, the 4 is the slow and the steady wins the race kind of energy that you've been working with all year. And it's really up in your face, up in your grill right now. So on or about September 4th, be ready to build or firm up some foundations prior to further development of 1 or 2 important enterprises. So get organized, make those practical, down-to-earth choices, and maintain a systematic approach to all that needs to get done. So more than likely, this is a culmination of what you've been focused on for most of the year anyway. So it may just feel like this last push to the finish line where you've been running the marathon, you feel exhausted, you're dehydrated, you're wondering why the heck you even wanted to run a marathon in the first place. Why did I even sign up? And that here you are. You're in the final stretch, and it requires all your stamina to stay with it. So keep your goals firmly in mind. Keep them in the front of your mind so that you don't veer off course or throw in the towel just before you break through that finish line, okay? So a few family matters, maybe legal, maybe financial, maybe emotional, may also need attention, probably during the week of September 13th. While this is really a push month, also know that it's mandatory to find time to do things you enjoy. I've been kind of harping on this all year. You got to take breaks. You got to get enough rest and sleep, relax, find your relaxation outlets, get some exercise. You got to make it for the long haul. So you'll need the endurance. So that means taking pit stops along the way so that you can make it to that finish line in one piece. So the greatest thing about this year is the enormous feeling of satisfaction when you can step back and see the bigger picture of what you've accomplished this year. It's a job well done, right? And if you are playing your cards right, all the hard work that you've done this year will pay off royally for the next 5 years and even beyond that, hopefully. So I see the month of September as a month of culmination of all that you've been working with and on in your 4 or 22-4 personal year. You are at the top of the mountain, and you're now situating yourself to traverse down the other side of the mountain and into the energies that are coming up for you in your upcoming 5 personal year in 2023. And yet, wait, hold on, not so fast. You still have these final 3 months where you are somewhat, if you are really sensitive energetically, which you very well could be, you can feel the kind of breeze of the next cycle coming in to greet you. So you can feel those, I don't know, the siren song of the freedom of your 5 personal year coming in to greet you, and yet you still have the next several months to really play out the highest and best of your hard working, getting it all in place for personal year. So that's your forecast for September. Also, a brief heads up. I've been asked for a while now, probably longer than I'd like to admit, for several years to offer a numerology certification program, and I've been working diligently on this, and it is rolling out starting in October. Level 1 will be offered in October. So if you are serious about your study of numerology, you want to take it to the next level, you want to be a numerologist, or maybe you want to integrate numerology into other aspects of your life and work, go ahead and check out my new certification program. See if it sounds like something you might have some interest in. You can take a look at what's involved on my website to see if it might be a good fit. You can see it there at FeliciaBender.com. And yet, in the meantime, I am looking forward to meeting with you next month to see what October has in store for you. So have a great month, and I will see you then.